Hi, X-Chickton here. Thought I would give you guys a van tour of my weekending rig. This is what me and my family of 5 use to camp out of, and sometimes all of us will sleep in here. So let's go. This is the BFV. She is a Chevy Express 3500. She is used as my daily driver, and she currently has about 101,000 miles on it. She has extended mirrors for when we are pulling the RV. Up front, you can see she's completely stock. In this pocket, I keep our cords for charging our phones and different electronic devices. As far as being a weekend vehicle and a daily driver, that middle box there is an extended console that I went ahead and built. We used to have a Dometic fridge there, and then it was empty for a little while, which is nice to walk through, but the box adds some much needed storage and space to put extra cups, hand sanitizer, masks sometimes live under there, and that kind of thing. The only change that I've really made to this vehicle is this switch right here. If you flip it, it actually kills all access to the battery. That way, if my kids are camping in here, for example, and I'm camping in a tent, they cannot turn on the lights and drain my starter battery, because that's the only way we have to move around. Up front on the dash, you can see our different solar lights. These are all Lucy lights. We currently have 7. 3 fancy colored ones for the kids, 1 candle flicker one for mommy, and 3 just plain lights. Underneath here, I generally keep flip-flops for me. On the passenger side door, I keep a few more camping items or cleanliness items. Trash bags, extra shopping bags in case I need those instead of trash bags. The ubiquitous broom and duster. This is lubrication, just chain lube, and Windex because I don't like dirty windows. And also in here I have one of my carbon monoxide detectors. The other one lives right there. I have my hiking shoes here. They do live in the van. This is an emergency rain poncho right here, and emergency feminine products. We also have emergency Deadpool, because obviously you need Deadpool in an emergency. Okay, you can kind of see my Velcro situation. I do have a mosquito net that will go up there if we're camping somewhere safe. This is another look at the box. This lifts up very easily. It can also slide this way to allow the cup space to be over there. And then under here we have an air pump for inner tubes or air beds. We also have an extension cord, the speaker that I prefer to use, a koozie, napkins, baby wipes, a bunch of stuff can fit in here. This entire unit slides forward quite easily to allow access to my glove box. Finally, if we are camping in cold weather, I will move all of this stuff up front, slide this up here, and I will put the buddy heater right here in between the seats. That way it's far away from the ceiling. It's also not gonna melt the plastic on the seats. It's on wood that is extremely sturdy, so if my kids roll around in the night and whack this piece of wood, it's gonna be okay. I have 3 children. my 3-year-old and my 7-year-old sit here. My 6-year-old sits right there. When we sleep, I generally have the 3-year-old sleep here, 6-year-old sleep here, and the 7-year-old sleep with me. If my husband comes with us, my husband and I will generally tent camp and let the kids sleep in here where it's more temperature controlled, because we do camp in the winter quite a bit. Underneath the seats, we have a couple of storage boxes. That is extra kitchen bits. So knives, forks, bowls, red Solo cups. In this box, we have river shoes and flip-flops for both adventuring and emergencies. And in the back space there, we have our trekking poles. And of course, our trash can. Underneath this seat, we have our ever-present fishing box. This lives in here. It's just got some cheap bait that barely ever works. Bobbers, line, leads, more bobbers, just different gear. And we have a collapsible fishing pole and gloves, because I don't like to touch the fish. It's gross. Back in the corner, this is where my mosquito netting is, or if I take this first seat out, one of these boxes will slide back here, the flip-flop box. This is all of my recovery, flat tire recovery. So I have this extra jack, my bolt breaker bar, different size wrench things, and this black jack. So this one is the Chevy one, this one is an extra one. And that's my tire recovery situation. The extra tire is underneath the van. This is our water. We always go with a 5-gallon jug with the hand pump on top. It's connected to the seat so it doesn't slide around and spill. And also I have these 2 individual gallon jugs that I will take out when we get to where we are camping. That way it's easy for us to have water wherever we need it. That never comes out. Okay. Up top, we have a Rhino rack system, which used to carry 2 Renogy solar panels and a bat wing awning, both of which have gone by the wayside. The solar panels went on a bus that I owned and I sold them, and the bat wing awning was more trouble than it was worth. So now I have a redneck roof rack up there. Okay, in the back we have the 4th iteration of build that has been back here. This was done within the last month and a half. And it comes apart in about 7 or 8 large pieces. This is obviously a stationary bed, but it can come out in order to allow us to pull our RV, and in case we need the back for anything else. The bed is 71 inches long, which is okay for me. It's not great for my husband. He cannot lay out flat. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out some of the things and just show you how it works. This is just extra, my yoga mat that I keep in here, and then a couple of extra mats for when we're camping. Okay, this piece is in 2 pieces. That's so that it can pop up and I can access it without pulling the doors out. And that's also so it can access this entire drawer. And then this also pops up. And that's built that way originally in the last build so that I would have access to the things underneath it. It also provides access to the things underneath it right now as well, in case it's raining outside or I've already tucked in for the night and I just don't feel like getting out. I can stand over here in some of the empty space and pop those up and then access things that are under here. So you can see what's supporting my my bed platform right now is just 2x1s all the way across. This part is not completely done because I am thinking I'm going to replace the 2x1s and get a new sheet of plywood and have it be a solid piece again instead of in so many different pieces. So this up here is an independently moving giant chunk of plywood that acts as a table, and I'll show you that now. This drawer, both of these drawers are complete full slide out. They are 71 inches long. So this one comes out. And then the table, like I said, moves independently. If I close the drawer, the table does have to go in. It cannot be out on its own. And again, it's just a big giant piece of plywood that is resting in between these 2x1s, and then it has another set of 2x1s that's screwed into the cabinet piece that it rests on top of. It does not rest on the box, although the box sometimes hits it, or the drawer sometimes hits it. So that's for if I need a prep area. That's also for my favorite camping tool, cook tool, which is my Blackstone grill. Back in the back, I currently have beach towels that are going to live there. Storage up front is not exactly very organized, but it has some of my pots and pans that I might want to use. It has a box of trash bags, some red Solo cups, some paper bowls, just general things that you would want when you're camping. And it's just nice to have it in this big open storage area. I love the full slide outs. Now, something interesting about this is it is using this tension. It is using tension based on this 2x1, which is screwed into the cabinet. And it's being held in place by this tube, this steel tube, which is 36 inches long. That's why it's only on the back end, because the front end, when it is pushed in, will stay in without causing a whole lot of problems. The other element of this is a little bit unfinished. These are legs that can come out and set up underneath this or this. It would work for either side. So as you can see, having those two sections of the bed pop up will allow me to slide the table back and forth and give me full access to what is underneath there. These also come out. This bed frame is just, or the bed platform itself is just sitting on there. Okay, moving on to this side. It's the same style drawer. It's a little bit longer, and so it's built just slightly different. And it also contains this mini drawer within it to hold my camp stove, which is just the classic Coleman, cheapest camp stove that you can get. It sits on a drawer that I made with some of the tubular steel and just 2 pieces of ply. It sits in here by just sliding that tubular piece of steel up underneath this 2x1, which is drilled into the larger drawer system. So then the larger drawer system again is 71 inches long. And because it's got all my propane and some is a bit heavier and more permanent structure, it will still come out, but ideally, if we were going on a vacation or something, I would just remove this drawer, this cabinet, and then fold this up and have all of this area as open van storage space. So the idea behind this is a little more permanent, so it carries a lot more of my gear. So in the interest of having a very easy to access stove, again, this will slide out no matter where this drawer has ended up, and I can cook and still be able to slide the drawer in and out in case I need something further back. Now, I don't like to do that, obviously, when I'm cooking. I've got hot stuff going and I don't want to be flopping it around. However, it can slide in and out no matter where the larger drawer is. Okay, up above the cabinet that holds the drawer that holds the The stove, I've got all of my utensils that I might need, including toasting forks, brand new one. I've got all your regular cooking implements. I've got my camp knife, one of them. I've got an actual cooking knife. I've got these folding cutting boards that everybody seems to have now. Of course, gotta have my koozies, my permanent spices, salt and pepper, and then Tony's. Gotta have it. Can opener, collapsible bowl, all that kind of good stuff. Some fire, ways to make a fire, and ramen packets, because gotta have it. Further back, we have our fuel situation. I have quite a few of these propane bottles right now because Texas just had a freak weather storm, and having these kind of saved my family for a couple of reasons. One, we could run the camp stove and we had good food the entire time. We did not have to bust into our MREs. And two, we have a Mr. Buddy heater. And these would be nice to have with the Mr. Buddy heater. But I also have a 20-pound propane tank that we have in case of emergencies. Furthermore, in here you can see some of my coffee tools. This is actually a coffee press from GSI. So I can make coffee with this. This is another way I can make coffee. It's just a pour over. You set it on the cup. And then the final way I can make coffee is have these single serve coffee tea bag things. I've got one of the Stanley pots and pans, colander, mugs, little bits and bobs of food, some instant ramen, forks and knives, plates, hot chocolate, and apple cider. And then finally in the very back, I have some of my camping things. You can see this is actually a packable backpack, a 40-liter packable backpack, a Trekology blow-up pillow, 2 bottle slings for my kids, and a Jiffy Pop. I obviously can put more back there if I want to. This drawer turned out a little bit interesting. I made an incorrect cut with my plywood, and so I have this piece cut in 2. The bottom of the drawer is in 2 pieces, unfortunately, but the sides of the drawer, you can see, are all one long piece. So that actually keeps it in very well. The other thing that you're going to notice about this is it is also held in by the 2x1 screwed into the cabinet, but it goes all the way. The wood goes all the way to the wood. Whereas in this one, there is an inch of space. You can see on either side, 3/4 inch of space, and then this box is held in by steel tubing. This box is just held in by itself and the length that it is. The final thing that is happening in this cabinet is it also has a table, but this table is much shorter. It's on steel tubing, so it can come all the way out like the other one. And finally, this one is independent, so I can push. All right, this one is independent, so if I want to push this particular drawer all the way back in, I still have this small area that I can set things on. Okay, inside the van, we have a couple of areas over here that are just open storage areas. This area is a catch-all for tools that I need. This is my fire pit, hammer, axe. These are my tie-down straps for when I put boxes on top of the van, or I need extensions for my hammock. This is fire starter. This is a camp chair that lives in here, and then I have tent stakes down there in the bottom. Over here I've got some soft storage stuff, 2 picnic blankets there, and there is a baby sling down there, which, as my child is almost 4, we should be able to get rid of very soon. Okay, this is the inside cabinet piece. This is actually a separate piece. It's not connected to anything. It's literally just sitting on the bed base, the cabinet, and it's kind of wedged up in here in the roof, and it's got a longer leg at the front that props it up there. So this is just some simple storage. This is not the most useful way to do this. I saw it on Instagram with these cool circular cutouts. If I do this again, I will be using my favorite wood in the world, which is 2x1, and building the cabinet and then putting 2x1 here so I can actually slide boxes in here and not have the agitation of trying to get them out. In any case, it's still a great storage solution for us because we do not live in the van. We just weekend in it and occasionally do longer trips. Up here, I just keep toilet paper, and occasionally I'll stuff kitchen towels in there, but now that I have this big long drawer, the kitchen towels live down there. The second area that is closest to the front of the van has a bunch of our personal hygiene items, and that red bag is supposed to be a first aid bag, but as you know, like store packaged first aid bags are basically band-aids. So a little bit of medicine and some band-aids. And then down here, literally I just have 3 camp pillows shoved in here. Up here, this is probably my most used area in the van. I use it when we're camping, I use it when we're not camping, and that's because it's got my hammock gear in here. I am always climbing in here to grab my hammock. I've got one of my sleeping mats here, Trekology, have not used that yet. I've got another Lucy light back here in the sun in the window. I keep my books here, and for lack of a better place to put them, waterproof beach bags for our phones. Okay, in this middle slot, you can see it's very empty. It's just holding hats. So I've got like a cold weather hat, sun hat, my husband's sun hat, and a baby size sun hat. I actually don't know if she will, her big old almost 4-year-old head won't fit into this anymore. They're gonna have to get real human-sized adult hats. Those hats live in there, and that's just convenient for any time we're going to the beach and I haven't thought about it, and that sun hat is there. Stadium seat, not really a stadium seat, but just a seat cushion. I have a bunch of these just around. This is used when we do go camping. It generally will fit my clothes, and if my husband comes with us, we can generally, depending on how long the trip is, get me and my husband's clothes in here in packing cubes. And this bottom section, when we're camping, is where my kids' packing cubes go. I will put all of this over here, and then the kids' packing cubes will fit over here. When we're not camping, these bags all live in here because as a mom, you just got to be prepared. This bag has a couple of hair doodads for my 3-year-old. And it also contains a sweater for each one of my kids in case it's cold at a restaurant we're going to or at. These are individual outfits for all 3 of my kids and for me. My husband did have a bag, but he took his bag out the other day because I guess he thought he had an emergency. Anyway, these are emergency clothes. This is for if your kid spills a drink on them, throws up on themselves or their siblings or you. If you go to the beach and you decide, hey, I got extra clothes, I'm gonna let my kids run around in the water because it's fun. Like, these are just good to have in general as a mother, because kids are messy, let's be honest. Okay, these final 2 compartments here at the end of the van originally were to hold some of my cooking gear and be like a little pantry. I don't know if you can tell, but from the window to this like bump out that they have for the air intake, it's about 6 or 7 inches, so you don't have a whole lot of space up here for depth of storage. So for example, this box only leaves about 1/2 inch back behind it if I put it where the bump out is. Anyway, that's why there are some food items up here. You can see I just have grits because they'll last forever. I have some soups. I usually try and go through these within a month or 2 of putting them in the van. ramen. And then this is like 2 years old. I've never even eaten this. I don't know how to cook this, but if we need it, we've got it. Obviously, you can also see I hang our headlamps up here. This is Coast. All the rest of these are Energizer of some kind. I got this one thinking that it would be the best one. It is not the one I prefer. It only has the one white light. It only has one brightness. My favorite one right now, and I'm gonna get another one, is this Energizer 400 lumens one, with the red light and different settings for your actual light. My kids use kind of these older, cheaper ones that I have, but it's really nice to have. In this bottom and last compartment, I will often put coffee, a bottle of water when we're camping. That way I can pull out my little mini stove here. This is a backup one, but I can pull out my mini stove, get my gas here, put those together, and pop out a cup of coffee without actually getting out of the van. So that also lives here. This is my backpacking stove as well. If we go backpacking, that's what comes. Big speaker. It has a weird charging cord, so I actually try to avoid using this one and use the smaller one instead. Extra gas. Like I said, extra stove. These are on Amazon. They're cheap. And then these are new for our camping setup. My child is 7. And she is old enough to go to the bathroom by herself, but if you know anything about being safe as a woman, you do still want everybody, like people, to know where you are, where you're going, and so this just gives me peace of mind for her to be able to explore and be independent. And we have 3 of those. She likes the small one, which means my 6-year-old gets one of these and I get one of these. This is just a beach trash bag I've been carrying around for several months now. I haven't used it because I just usually will pop out a plastic bag for us to use for our trash, and then just if we pick up trash on the beach, I'll put it in there. And then finally, this thing is a windscreen. All right, so that's how me and my family camp in our van, just as weekend warriors. This is the setup that we currently use, and it's working great for us. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, please let me know.